Hello everyone, and welcome back to Technically Unsure, where I'm not really sure what I'm doing technically. As you can see, I brought out again the big table because we are going to take a look at this big boy. So this is from a company I haven't heard about before, Orico, and they reached out basically. They said we have a new release and this is a 10-bay NAS, and it does have a lot of features that I really like, such as AI for managing and doing AI stuff for photos and all that stuff we're going to explore. It supports Docker, it supports snapshots, and as far as I can tell, I saw in their documentation and specification, seems like they also use ZFS, and I see it right here as I was talking about it. Yeah, it says ZFS file system and is equipped with an Intel Core i5-1240p. This particular one, as I said, is called the CF1000. It's 10 bay and it is basically, as I just read, i5-1240p, 16 gigabyte DDR5 RAM, and there is a 128 gigabyte SSD. I believe that's mainly used for the operating system, and then you install your own hard disk drives. I don't think that one is really for you to use. There's also SATA 3 6 gigabit per second times 10, so that each 10 slot is using the SATA 3.0. There is also two M.2 NVMe SSD slots, 2280. DDR5, as I said, is also there. The internet is 10 gigabit, so it's a 10 gigabit and it's two 10 gigabit, so you will have two slots, which we are gonna see. I'm just telling you before, but we're gonna explore that. So let me grab my knife. Let's take a look at it and see what is inside. Okay, first of all, first impression, it's a very neatly packed, very nice box. All right, so let's take this out. Wow, that was a lot of padding for something relatively small in this box. That's the NAS. There's also this. The rest is just the packaging. So in terms of stuff that comes with it, there's the manual, and then there's the power cord, and then there's a screwdriver and two patch cables. Basically, I believe these are Cat 6, and a lot of screws for hard disk drive. And now the star of the show, the NAS itself. First impression, it looks very nice and fancy, as you can tell. Does this front? Yep, there you go. So the front comes off very easily. As you can see, you have to just pull this to the left, and then the disc comes out. Replace the discs. It's not one of those easy install ones. You have to screw the hard disk screws basically to hold your disk in place. 1 2 3 4 5 times to 10, and there you can see that the power button is here, and there are lights for every single hard disk for activity and all that. I'm sure they're also using it to indicate fault or something like that. So I'm going to put this back on and go back, and on the back, as you can see here, we have the power connector right over there, which accepts from 110 to 240 volt. It's these regular power cables, and two 10 gigabit Ethernet. These are RJ45. These two are USB 4. So I'm gonna see what I can do with those. I have USB 4 disk as well, so we're gonna see. A reset button, USB 3.2 that I mentioned. Again, USB 3.2 that I mentioned. Type C, Type A, display port, HDMI port, and two USB 2s. That's it. In order to get access to inside, I believe we have to take out all these screws. So let me do that real quick. Let's start from here. Okay, the moment of truth. There you go. This is the inside of the NAS. So here we have, these are for the back planes and the hard disk drives, and these are the power. There is a very good cable management going on inside. As you can see, these two gigantic fans are there. That's the motherboard. This is the power supply. Relatively easy to remove and replace, and that's kind of it for this side. So you don't really have to open the back. I just wanted to show you what's going on in there, but in reality, you just need to open the bottom for NVMe SSDs. Easy access to them. That's right over here. So you remove this. The RAM is over here, and as for the RAM, it looks like an Orico 16 gigabyte, probably white labeling made by some company. I don't know what it says, Orico. So the same company that makes the NAS. And right over here, as you can see, there are two NVMe SSD slots, which we are going to use. And as I said, what they are shipping it with with is a DDR5, and it is 4800 DDR5. I am not going to upgrade it. I just want you all to see, because when I upgrade it, people say, okay, why did you do that? And we wanted to see what we are going to get as is. So because of that, I am not going to upgrade it. Gonna keep it as is. I'm just going to add my NVMe SSDs. Here is 10 hard disk drives. I'm gonna use the usual 18 terabyte Western Digital ones. So give me a couple of minutes. Let me set this up, and then we are going to take a look at it at the bench. I will be right back. All right, so we are back. As you can see on the screen, this is the Orico's HDMI output, and on the top right, it will show you the IP addresses. And I plugged two Ethernet cables, so you can see one received the IP address of 104, the other is 116, right? So keep that in mind. Now let's go to my computer. So in my computer, I installed their desktop app, basically. Their desktop app is this, and it automatically, very quickly found my Orico device. I'm just running it. I haven't done anything. So it detected my NAS, and you can see it picked up the first IP, which is 104. And we are just going to enter, let's just go admin. Okay, so we registered an account. That should be it. There we go. So we have logged in. That is a very nice looking software so far, and it was super smooth. I didn't do anything. Everything started working on its own. So here you will see something is null, to personal, to private, device list, and all that stuff. We're gonna go over it. First things first, I have to create an NAS. So this is for complex disk array. Let's see what is in there. That is complex select disks, that we have all these disks, and then the NVMe SSDs. They are all healthy. We can go RAID Z1, RAID Z2, RAID Z3. Very similar, I'm gonna say, to, let's say, TrueNAS. So you will be able to use the same setup in RAID 5, RAID 6, similar setup. I don't really think, maybe let's go RAID Z2. If any of the two disks fail, we'll still have the data. So we are not going to use the NVMe SSDs. I am going to use every single hard disk drive, which is the 10 hard disk drive. I'm not gonna use these. And maybe there's a cache step. There is not. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything. For the cache settings, we picked RAID Z2, unsupported, pool encryption and compression. Apparently also have storage pool encryption enabled by default. Yeah, I'm not seeing it where I can maybe add that as a cache device. So let's go with the simple. Let's see how it is. So just different UI, I guess. RAID Z2 again. Yeah, I mean, that was really it. So yeah, it shows all the disks. In the advanced mode, it shows a little bit more details per disk, but overall it's the same UI. So 10 disks, 2 NVMe SSDs, not gonna touch it, RAID Z2, and storage encryption and compression, and let's just create that. Oh, so it is, okay. So TrueNAS usually creates these NAS devices, pools, in a couple of minutes. On contrary to this, like for instance, the other NAS I looked at usually takes, I don't know, a day, which they use like BTRFS or some other NAS they take a long time to create. This, hopefully, if it is very similar to TrueNAS, should be able to create pool in a couple of minutes. So let's just wait. Oh, there you go. It is created. That was it. You could see the power consumption right over here. So that was really it. Oh wow, that was smooth. So not only it created, it also initialized basically the NAS. Now there is a lot of Docker, album and applications, everything kind of started working. And remote access is also there. They told me about it. I told them I will show this NAS to my audience only under one condition, that the user should be able to disable remote access if they want to. So I don't like the NAS devices, and I don't think I will ever show on my channel NAS devices that force you to use their cloud link or remote access stuff. When I don't want that, I just don't want that. So I want to be able to disable it. Here you go. So you can turn it off, and if you disable this, it says internet access. Don't worry, it's not going to disconnect it from internet. Internet accessing the NAS through internet. Let's just say it that way. If you turn this off, that's exactly what I was asking them in order to demo and showcase you guys this NAS. So they have it. Yeah, we got a deal. It automatically detected that I'm in Eastern US. I didn't enter that. That is also a nice touch. As you can see, it does have a Mac-ish UI. I'm gonna be honest, I saw this Chinese characters a couple places. Hopefully they will improve. Let's just say that. I mean, I want them to do not just remove Chinese. What I want them to do is just go with locale. So if I'm in English, everything is almost in English. So it gotta be English everywhere, not just half. But that's just nitpicking. Anyway, maybe not nitpicking, I'm just saying. So there's Docker. So you can install these things, as you can see on the screen easily, I'm assuming. So let's try the qBittorrent. They call it download tool, a download tool for pirates. So anyway, here it is. It's pulling a qBittorrent Docker image. So the qBittorrent will have its own Docker container, and hopefully you will be able to download your torrents, and then it will be stored in the NAS. Wow, that was smooth. I just installed it and it just launched it. What is admin and all cap admin? Okay, so here's the deal. That didn't work, and apparently the newer qBittorrent will generate the username and password and spit it out in the log, but I can't seem to find the logs for this, so I can grab it. Let's see, container operation. Oh, logs, there you go. Okay, there you have it. This gotta be the password. Okay, so I'm assuming I can copy it this way. Does it work? Okay, I'm going to copy this whole thing. Yeah, username is admin and the password is this. Well, it doesn't work. But anyway, we installed the qBittorrent and here's the logs. That is right there. That's a qBittorrent thing. I don't know what's going on, but we can delete it and recreate it, do something like that. But console, let's see. There you go. So you have access in here. We can probably troubleshoot that. Let's see what it's running. Okay. That is actually very fast, as you can tell. Every operation is working very smoothly. And I just installed qBittorrent very quickly. This is so far so good. This is so far so good. Let's go to settings. So here's my account. This is the computer that I'm using. This is the settings for admin. This is the share. You can share the internet access apparently to this. And there is the wallpapers that you can choose from. There is the power settings. There's auto sleep mode. There's power scheduling, disks. You can see all the disks are healthy and working. You can do also smart tests on them. We can see our pool that is up and running. So yeah, 124 terabyte, 1018 terabyte disk is a RAID Z2, and I created, but I don't know where we can really use the NVMe SSDs in the pool. There was no option to use them as like a caching device of sorts. I mean, you can create another pool, call that fast, and yeah, there you go. I can create this and do a mirror basically, or stripping, and have another pool, a fast pool. That you can do it, obviously. And I placed two 4 terabyte NVMe SSDs in there, but I don't know if I want to do that. I would have preferred if I could use these NVMe SSDs for log device or a cache device or something else, just like through NAS, but I hope they add that, but it's not there. Network settings is there. Oh, there you go. That I was looking for it. So ability to create link aggregation, you can do that. And this is very nice, actually. Now I can see firewall, which ports are open. So these are for the torrent, and I can close them apparently here. This is the DNS, and I can create link aggregation, combining these two. Load balancing mode, active backup mode, dynamic aggregation. This is more common. I use it in the other NAS devices, and there are other modes as well. So you can create link aggregation basically here from the 10 gigabit Ethernet. So what I want to do is, let's keep going. I will come back for some tests. It automatically, as I said, it detects your region, NTP cloud. It's using Ali Cloud and Tencent. These are Chinese. I would usually replace these with something that's nearby. System upgrade, it's already on the latest version apparently. About and cache. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the settings. The LAN share, yep, I assumed it is going to be about SMB. So they have a Samba, FTP, NFS, and DLNA and WebDAV. So I'm going to enable. Okay, so I have enabled this, and let's go with SMB3. That should be it. Let's check it out. There you go, it worked. Let's enable this as well. So I think enabling this will give you access to the pool and where you can store the data. Without it, I think this is the system pool, which is the 128 gigabyte system disk. I think that's what it is because I didn't create this share. Let's see what is in there. Yeah, desktop documents, downloads, these are the system stuff. Let's go in there. Let's see if I can copy a 10 gigabyte file to here and see the performance. I just want this operation to finish. I don't want this to interrupt the speed, but doesn't seem like doing much. I'm going to copy a 10 gigabyte file over here. I want to see it capping the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, which is this computer, the computer that I'm recording from's limit. But so far, it's not doing that. So I'm assuming we are copying to the 128 gigabyte storage in there, not to the disks. But we'll figure it out. It's doing 225. If it caps the 2.5 gigabit, it should have been 280, 285, but it's not doing that. But at least it is stable. It's been consistent with around like 220 megabytes per second in average. So let's see where it's stored and how we can store on these disks. Let's give it some time. Okay, so we are back and I got some updates, some news. Basically, there are a couple of applications I just want to show you. There's an album where it uses AI and it was real fast. I just dragged and dropped the files and immediately detected what is what. So you can filter with face, with scene, and you can see it detect animals. You see the cows, and it detects plants, as you can see, and it detected the animal, the cat, the friend. So it detects that, and if there is a location, it detects those as well. So you can basically search for keywords, I guess, basically pets. Let's see, not really cat. Okay, so it detects some stuff. Okay, so AI capabilities are there. There is also a video player of sorts. If you upload videos in here, it should show, but I don't know where these movies are coming from. I think it's a different folder. But anyway, there is a file manager here. Here is the movie. So I uploaded this movie. It didn't show up in the movie application, but if you double click on it, it plays the 4K video. I have to mention it is playing and rendering this on my computer. It's in this desktop application, not on the NAS. So HDMI output, it just barely shows this, as you can see. Just shows you the version and the IP address. Hopefully in future versions, they will have something that you can play through the back and the HDMI port, but right now it's not there. Going back to the web application, as you can see over here, I tested, by the way, if we go to desktop and let me delete these files. So I have large files, and if I copy and drag and drop it through the desktop application, you will see the speed it shows here, 285. It looks like it is capping the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. I hope the timing and everything is accurate, but I am not getting these numbers when I'm doing Samba file copy. I'm not capping the 2.5. Here you can see 300 megabits per second. Over here it's showing 285. I don't think it is really accurate because it's taking a long time to copy 10 gigabyte file, but yeah, I will show you here in the NAS, in the Samba. So if we go to Samba, now I am going to copy through Samba, and you will see that it's nowhere near capping the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet speeds. Okay, I also tried, I'm going to be honest, I tried on my 10 gigabit Ethernet computer on the right over there that I use for work. Here's the power consumption, but it's not capping 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. There is some performance issues over here. I'm going to also be honest, I tell you that in the 10 gigabit Ethernet, I was getting faster speeds than this, but this is what I'm getting. That's what I'm reporting. That's what I'm seeing. I thought about it. I thought maybe because we enabled disk encryption in the pool encryption, that might affect the performance, but it can't be. I have a true NAS in my network, and you have seen it in many other my past NAS review videos. I do a benchmark, and it's always 1.12 gigabytes per second I'm copying from that very same computer. That being said, I will do a test over there just to show you guys. So let's go over there to this other computer. Okay, so here you can see it live, and this is the other two files that I copied from the other computer. Now I am going to copy and paste this file, and as you can see, yes, it is doing faster than what I was seeing there, but it is again still not as fast as a real 10 gigabits per second. You see, this is much faster. I'm getting half the speed, and there's a lot of fluctuation. As you can see, it just goes up and down, up and down. So yeah, that's just one test. I can do this again, another test. You will see that it is like 500 megabytes per second, I would say, in average. You see, sometimes it goes higher and faster and then rolls back down. So it's not stable performance, but I would say 500 megabytes per second in this particular test. Okay, so you have it. In the other computer, I was getting 500 megabytes per second at least faster. Not enough. 10 gigabit, as I said, should do a lot faster. But I would say it's passable. It's still very fast. And yeah, so I believe I covered pretty much everything. We ran a Docker with a single click. It's really just you install it and it starts working. This is like pulling in Alpine Linux and the code server. See, it's performing fine. It's doing fine. It's very easy to access the console, the terminal, and the logs of container. So the Docker part is passable and it's okay. There's good amount of information as well in there, but also there's also device monitoring application here, but the naming is here cut off. But anyway, device monitoring, you will see this is the CFC1000. That's 2 IP addresses that I have, the OS. These are all the cores, 16 cores that you can see right over here, and how much they are being used. By the way, I always around like 100 watts when you populate every single disk, and 2 NVMe SSDs. Keep that in mind. RAM is always around this. Cooling, you can see the fan stats and temperatures. That's also say, oh, I have to mention, absolutely super ultra quiet. It doesn't make any noise at all. I mean, I can hear the mechanical disks making noises, but the NAS is not making any noise. So the fans are very, very quiet. So they have this, and you will be able to also see the details of each task and how much they're using. There are a couple small issues here and there, but I would say it's doing fine. And the files that I copied, by the way, are here. So it's okay. There's definitely room for improvement, but they have some good applications. I'm going to give them a pass. This album and AI stuff design is okay. There is a notebook application which you can take notes in here and you know, write stuff and do formatting. Yeah, so it's okay. So you can always take notes in here, and you have file manager. You have access to the device remotely from outside internet if you enable the internet access. There is movie player, music player, album, file manager. That's all so far. And from what I can tell, there is also an HDMI application here. So seems like if I select a media from the computer, but here's the deal. So users would want to plug this in to the computer, to the monitor, to the TV, and then from TV with remote or with some app or something, play some straight from NAS on their TV, right? So this one requires a computer. Seems like if you go to the movies, I am going to select this, and if okay, it's playing. Let's go to the HDMI. Yeah, you see now it's outputting it through HDMI. So this is capturing what you're seeing on screen is output of the HDMI of this computer. Okay. Also, it's playing it very well. This is a 4K HDR video, and it's doing fine. It's playing it very well. Remember, I said it doesn't have the HDMI playback. Doesn't play the video through HDMI. So I kind of take it back, but also how are you going to really use this? Well, with the mobile application, you certainly can. You can go to the NAS and select the HDMI and play the video, and it will play through the HDMI. But through device itself, you can't. But here, if you accept this is a passable solution to that as well. As you saw, it plays the video very well, a 4K video. So keep that in mind. That also works. I just wanted to show you guys. There is also time machine feature. So it is disabled, but you can enable it so it constantly backs up your files and your applications. I believe we covered everything. There is also a password manager, by the way. So you can select a password for your vault, right? Okay, there you go. So you can log in, and now you can create a password. You can enter the title for your entry, username and password in the website and all that. But I don't know how usable this is. Yes, you can store your passwords in here, but I don't think anyone will really manually put their passwords in here. So it certainly needs a password importing tool of sorts. So maybe if somebody wants to use it, they should be able to migrate from, let's say, LastPass or whatever, Chrome, something else. But as is, I don't see myself or let's say my friends using it, but it is there. I just wanted to show you. Yeah, so certainly they are on the right track. Let's just say that. Bunch of applications are there and almost everything works. A little bit performance is underwhelming in terms of Samba, and I am going to be honest, Samba application is a little bit buggy. So I had to turn it off and on a couple times, and this one, when I enable this or disable that and do this, it is a little bit shaky. It works, but it is a little bit shaky. That being said, I'm going to give them a pass. This application, I don't think it's completely released yet. They are going to release it soon, so there's a lot of room for improvement, but it works. And you know, you can see the stats also over here. I just noticed that. That is pretty much it. There is nothing else that I didn't really cover. We went through almost everything in this NAS, other than a couple things that I just complained about. I can't complain about anything else. It's very quiet, compact, good looking, neat looking NAS that's easy to insert and update disks to, start and use using it. Also doesn't take any effort. Very seamlessly, everything started to work. I just want them to make sure everything is matching the locale. If it is English, everywhere it should be English. Even the share names are containing non-English characters, which it shouldn't, as you can see right over there. Okay, so fix up the locale stuff. I would also check the SMB application thing. It is not really doing well. I had to disable and enable a couple times when it started to work. It is not performing as expected. Desktop application claims it is 285 and capping. I doubt it, but even in the other 10 gigabit per second computer, I was getting 500, 600 megabytes. I was expecting a little bit more than that. So that's 2. And number 3, make the application easier to play through the HDMI. You know, this is like going to the computer, selecting video and playing there. Maybe like show a QR code on the screen, easier to manage, and then select the video. Or maybe the phone app can turn into a control, and so you can select the media and play it in there. Anyway, it's a nitpicking thing, that thing, but it's working overall. Other than that, I also like the fact that you can turn off the internet thing, and application UI and everything looking neat. The AI thing, I'm not a big fan. I'm not gonna really use it. That's just me. The password manager, also not for me, but if people want to use it, they should definitely add importing password feature to it. But anyway, the one thing I want to mention for the AI thing, it's a little bit preliminary. The other NAS that I showed on my channel that was using AI for the NAS, it had a little bit more to that. So I am sure they will work on this as well. I didn't show you guys one thing, kind of mainly because it didn't work, but I have to point it out. So this is an Anc Max, as you can see, USB 4 M.2 NVMe SSD, okay, enclosure. There's an NVMe SSD, relatively fast, that's right there, okay? So it is supposed to be fast. I couldn't get it to show up. I plugged the back of this cable to USB 4 port, and it's a USB 4 device. As you can see, the light comes on, okay, that green light. Now look at the computer. I am here in the external storage. In the hard disk drives, it's not showing here. These are all, and these two, okay. I'm sorry, I take that back. It seems like it's right here, okay? So this shows up in the hard disks, not in the external storage. So it shows up here. Let's quickly delete. There is no partition, okay. So let's create a partition, 2 terabyte. I just want to get it to work. I don't really know how it works. Okay, 1.8 terabyte, let's just say that. Create new, enter, okay. So this is not really intuitive UI. I don't like it, but I'm just gonna go with it. So we allocated, but it's not really exactly it because I can't exactly enter the number. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So let's keep going. I'm gonna format that USB 4 disk, okay? I'm glad I figured it out on the camera. It wasn't showing up. I think the left USB 4 port is not working, and it doesn't matter. So anyway, I got it, okay? There you go. So we got the USB 4 port disk. And if we go to LAN share, can I share it? Let's go back to storage. Where is my disk? Let's go here. There you go. There you have it. But how do I access it? So okay, it's not here. Manage disk, storage pool. Okay, let's create a pool, I guess. There you go. Let's create a single disk pool, and yeah, that's a single pool. Okay, so let's disable the pool encryption and compression just in case. Okay, storage pool 2. So these passwords that's asking, I don't really know what it is asking for, but anyway. So we created the second storage pool based on the USB-C disk. And is it default shared, or how do I share that? Okay, let's go back here. It's not here. Anyway, let's go to the file manager and storage pool 2. That's here. I can drag and drop files there for sure. Yeah, I don't think there is a way for me to share that second pool in December. As you can see, as I said, it's a little bit preliminary. There are some issues, but ignore that. I am going to drag and drop large files here through the desktop application to see if there is any difference. So let's drag and drop that. Okay, 285, 300. That's good. That's good. All right. So we are getting somewhere. All right. So it is kind of matching the performance of when I was writing to disks over here. I turned on recording to just say it doesn't work. I switched the port for USB 4. Maybe that, maybe something else. Maybe I wasn't checking the hard disks because I was expecting it to show up in the external. Doesn't matter. I got it to work. Okay. And you can see the screen is still recording. You can see the speed. That's it. So you can technically connect additional disks, fast disks through the USB 4 port, and it should be really fast. As you can see, we are kind of limited to the speed of Ethernet of this computer. I just wanted to make sure that I include that as well. That was it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.